Hi everyone, County Student Meteorologist Steve Shrenkel back with my 5th installment of NWS History with Steve. Now in this episode we're going to be looking at some of the most recent technological achievements and advancements in the National Weather Service's history, all the way up to 2016. So please sit back, relax, and enjoy.
The National Weather Service has gone through a lot of changes and progressions throughout its time in history. From the very beginnings, all the way to the present, the National Weather Service has truly had amazing achievements. For the past 30 years, the National Weather Service has experienced incredible feats of technological advancements, some that can still be seen to this very day. It all started to come together in 1970 when the Weather Bureau finally became the National Weather Service under the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. Weather radar and satellites from the 1950s served as launching points for the remote sensing and advanced weather radar systems that we see today. To get our current radar technologies, radar had to go through many generational advancements that served as milestones for progress. One of these so-called milestones was in 1973 when the National Weather Service purchased its second-generation radar, the WSR-74. These replaced WSR-57 radar for the time being. Progressing on into 1975, the Geostationary Operational Environmental Satellite, or GOES, was launched into orbit. Besides being a really innovative piece of technology at the time, the GOES satellite was considered the first hurricane hunter. These satellites at the time tracked hurricanes and greatly reduced the loss of life from these hurricanes. Third generation radar was then launched in 1976, spawning a new and improved way to detect weather. This, while extremely beneficial at the time, was overshadowed by the huge weather event that had occurred in the same year. During the celebration of Colorado's centennial, the Big Thompson Canyon was the site of a devastating flash flood that swept down the canyon. This flash flood claimed the lives of 143 people, 5 who were never found. The flood was triggered by a stationary thunderstorm near the upper section of the canyon that poured 12 inches of rain in less than 4 hours. A wall of water about 20 feet high raced down the canyon at about 14 miles an hour, destroying nearly 400 cars, 418 houses, and 52 businesses, while simultaneously washing out most of U.S. Route 42. These new satellites were a great way to observe weather at the time, but also eliminated the last U.S. weather observation ship. Fast forward to 1979, and Dr. Richard Hallgren was appointed as the director of the National Weather Service, after he served as the executive director of the American Meteorological Society. In the same year, the AFOS computer system was deployed, connecting all weather service forecasts. The system could not be celebrated for too long, however, as another disaster struck in 1980 when Mount St. Helens erupted. Weather satellites were at the forefront of spotting the eruption and alerting the FAA. The death toll for this tragedy was cited as 57. There was a minor controversy in regards to the death toll. 2 victims who were found after the incident had the same names that were thought to be killed in the eruption. 3 missing people were also regarded as not official victims. The death toll could then be as low as 55 or as possible as high as 60. The National Weather Service continued to help out work and provide assistance whenever needed. One of the most prestigious things the Weather Service helped with was guide the Voyager aircraft in the first non-stop, non-fueled flight around the world in 9 days. In 1989, an 8-year national plan for modernizing and restructuring the National Weather Service was announced. This cost $4.5 billion. Some of the cool innovations included ASOS, NexRad, and new satellites. In 1993, another extreme weather event occurred. Record floods in the Midwest caused turmoil for that area. The National Weather Service assisted with the flood emergency, earning them the U.S. Department's highest award, a gold medal. Vice President Al Gore even joined in on helping the Weather Service develop with launching NOAA Weather Radio Initiative to increase transmitter coverage to 95% of the population. The National Weather Service would continue to have more achievements and accomplishments. This would culminate to an absolute disaster that the Weather Service had to assist with in 2005. Hurricane Katrina would make landfall along southeast Louisiana, resulting in the most expensive land disaster in U.S. history. War storms and devastating floods occurred for the next few years, always keeping the National Weather Service on their toes. The National Weather Service continued and launched an initiative to build a weather-ready nation to keep people safe and informed. Radars were continuously improved, and one of the most recent accomplishments that the National Weather Service celebrated was the launch of the GOES satellite. While GOES was a successful innovation, in the end improving even more weather data, it was initially delayed by Hurricane Matthew impacts felt along the Florida coast. In the end, however, GOES-R was a very successful launch and is the crowning achievement of the National Weather Service to this date.
Thank you for watching this installment of NWS History with Steve. If you want to see some more awesome content, be sure to head over to our Twitter page, @NWS, our Facebook page, California University of Pennsylvania Meteorology, our Instagram page, NWS, or our YouTube channel, California University of Pennsylvania Meteorology. Thank you for watching.